Shocker, supposably is a real word. If you've already seen one of my previous videos, I've already talked about that. I don't really want to go back into rehashing definitions, but supposably is synonymous with allegedly. So if you listen to certain podcasts or have seen certain things on YouTube, they throw that word around a lot. Allegedly, they could just as easily be saying supposably. It would fit just fine. So I don't really want to rehash that whole thing, but I want to answer a more interesting question. Why does this word bother people so much? Hi, I'm Dina, and this is Correctish English. If you enjoy learning how the English language actually works, especially everyday English, and the evolution of word meanings, this video is for you. The reaction to supposably tells us more about English and about us than the word itself. Okay. Most arguments about supposably aren't actually about the meaning. Everyone understands the sentence. The problem is the expectation. Your brain predicts what's coming next, and when it hears a sound pattern it didn't expect, it flags it as wrong, even if the meaning is clear. That reaction happens fast, faster than conscious thought. So when people say that word is wrong, what they often mean is that word violated my expectation. This is one of those English words that shows how spoken English works differently than grammar rules we were taught. Okay? Supposably feels wrong because it sits in an awkward space. It looks like supposedly, it sounds like possibly, and it's based on supposable, a word most people never use. And English has a lot of these ghost words. They're real, they're correct, but they're socially invisible. When they show up in speech, people assume they must be mistakes. So this is where English actually starts to evolve, okay? And linguistics can get really interesting. Spoken language changes first. Written language lags behind. Linguists talk about this a lot. It's part of language evolution and sociolinguistics, which is the study of how language and society influence each other. People didn't start using supposably because they misunderstood English. They used it because it fits the pattern. English loves adverbs that end in ly. English already had supposedly, so supposably feels natural, even if it's technically doing a different job. Okay. So the real reason people avoid it is this is where language and culture intersect, and where grammar myths get passed down. Here's the quiet truth. People don't avoid supposably because it's unclear. They avoid it because it attracts correction, and correction isn't neutral. Correction signals authority. It signals education. It signals class. That doesn't mean correction is always bad, but it does explain why some perfectly real words disappear from everyday use. Okay. So what does this teach us about proper English? English isn't governed by logic alone. It's governed by social agreement. And some words survive because they're useful. Some survive because powerful people use them. And some fade, not because they're wrong, but because they're risky. Supposably lives in the risky zone. So should you use supposably? That depends. In formal writing, probably not. In everyday speech, you'll be understood, but you're likely to be corrected. So knowing that lets you choose intentionally. It's not about being right, it's about being fluent in context. Understanding this helps with communication skills, not just grammar. The real lesson here isn't about supposably. It's about how English decides which words feel acceptable and which ones don't. If you're a language lover who enjoys word origins, linguistics, and learning why we say what we say, click and subscribe for more. This is Correctish English.